Hi guys, this is for 30-year-old women who are Christian and still single. I'll start by saying this. I turned 30 last year. I'm going to be 31 this fall. I have never been asked out on a date in my life, and I mean that. Never. I've never been approached by a guy. I've never had a man show interest in me. And I would never have admitted to that a couple years ago. I was ashamed and embarrassed about that. I was like, oh, it's because I'm stupid maybe, or, I'm not attractive, or all these things. Like, I thought it was a deficiency in me. But I have been hearing from other women the exact same thing, especially Christian women, where it's like, no one, I'm 27, I'm 28, I've never been asked out. And so I think there's a problem on both sides. I think that women get blamed a lot, where people will say, you hoard yourself in your 20s, and, you cared about your career and you did all these things to keep men away from you. And I think I never did any of that stuff. And I know a lot of other women who didn't do that stuff. And they're just, men aren't asking women out maybe. I don't know. I do put myself out there, and I know other women who put themselves out there. We'll get all cute. We'll go to the tea shops. We're very open to having conversations with strangers. And, we do a lot of things in hopes that someone will just walk up to us and say, hey, here's my number, or whatever. However that works, I don't know. And there's not a lot of men doing that. And I will make some more videos. I have stories and stuff I'd like to share. But anyways, I hope it's an encouragement to those who are like me, because I didn't see any videos like this a year ago, and that would have been really helpful. So that's why I'm putting this out there. Don't be embarrassed. Jesus loves you, and I don't know, maybe we can fix this, or talk about how we can fix it. Bye.
You ever scroll through social media and see video after video of women asking, where are the men? Why don't they approach anymore? It's like they're shocked that something changed. But here's the truth. Men noticed a shift before anyone talked about it. And instead of arguing, they just adjusted. This isn't about men being afraid. It's about them being done. Done chasing. Done proving themselves. Done signing up for disrespect, rejection, and public embarrassment just for showing interest. So today, we're pulling the curtain back and talking about why a lot of men just aren't stepping forward anymore, and what pushed them to this point. Let's break it down. Women everywhere keep wondering, what happened to men initiating? Why aren't they approaching us like they used to? The answer isn't mysterious. It's just uncomfortable. Men are checking out, not because they're lazy or afraid, but because they've been paying attention. The dating game changed, and so did their willingness to play it. Guys were told to improve, to become more emotionally aware, ambitious, respectful, and they did. But instead of appreciation, many were met with indifference or ridicule. Vulnerability was mocked. Kindness got labeled as too much. Meanwhile, the loudest messages in modern culture encourage women to chase drama and dismiss stability. And now, the same men who were overlooked have finally pulled back. Why would a guy walk up to a stranger today when the risk outweighs the reward? A wrong word can be spun into creepy. A genuine compliment becomes harassment. And if she's not interested, she might turn it into content for clout. A lot of men have realized that putting themselves out there in public is a gamble, and the odds aren't in their favor. Instead, they redirected their energy. They're focusing on their purpose, building income, growing in peace. They're no longer trying to prove their value to someone who treats dating like a game or a competition. If initiating conversation is met with mockery or entitlement, it's just not worth the effort anymore. It's not that good men disappeared. They simply stopped trying to win over people who made them feel disposable. The same men who were once eager to connect are now more guarded, more selective, and less willing to be shamed for genuine interest. They're not hiding. They're just done performing for a crowd that never clapped. So when you see women asking, where are the men? Understand this. They didn't vanish. They just stopped engaging with a system that punished sincerity. If you're not seeing them show up, maybe ask why they don't feel safe or respected enough to bother. This isn't bitterness. This is reality. Men didn't walk away from women. They walked away from disrespect, double standards, and constant judgment. That's the part no one wants to say out loud.
Hearing some men on this app talk about they would never date a single mom with children, as if they are some magical golden prize. Pointing out that single moms just come with baggage. Meanwhile, Jerry, you're in 3 situationships. Like, let's talk about your little carry-on baggage there, shall we? And I'm going to speak from experience here. Yes, there are some women out there who are toxic, who have not done their healing. I'm not going to deny that. But that's a human issue, not a single mom issue. And last I checked, healing is individual. And by you lumping all single moms into a category just shows your lack of emotional maturity. So trust me when I say you don't have to worry about this single mom looking twice at you. Because looking at your profile, I'm almost certain that I would run circles around you any day of the week. Have a great day.
This might ruffle feathers, but let's talk honestly. A growing number of men are choosing not to date single mothers. Not because they hate kids, not because they're immature, but because they've learned that in many cases, it's a path filled with emotional landmines, blurred boundaries, and responsibilities they didn't create. See, a man stepping into a ready-made family has to navigate more than just a relationship. He's stepping into the shadow of another man, often one who's still in the picture. That's not a relationship. It's a triangle. And many guys are asking, why would I pour my time, energy, and resources into a situation where I'll never come first? Because let's be honest, when you're dating a single mom, the kids will always be your priority, and rightfully so. But that also means you never fully get the woman. You get what's left of her after everything else is handled. On top of that, some single moms carry unresolved bitterness from the past. If she hasn't healed from her previous relationship, every disagreement becomes a trigger. You're not judged for who you are. You're judged for what her ex did. And that's a burden no man should have to carry. Relationships are supposed to be built on mutual effort, not emotional debt. If you know you're not in that category, who are she trying to convince? Self-worth doesn't need internet validation. Don't try to convince the ones she don't even want. Let them spread the vitriol. Be above it. Then there's the entitlement some men experience. They're expected to show up, provide, and help out like a stepfather from day one, while the biological dad gets a pass, or worse, gets respect just for existing. And if the relationship ends, he's left with nothing. No rights, no say, no closure. That's not dating. That's volunteering. Now, this isn't a blanket judgment. There are incredible single mothers out there. But the truth is, a lot of men have simply chosen to protect their peace, their resources, and their future by avoiding complex setups that come with high risk and low reward. It's not about lacking compassion. It's about having standards. So when a man says, I don't date single moms, understand he's not being harsh. He's being real. He's seen enough, heard enough, and learned enough to know what he wants and what he won't compromise on. And he doesn't owe anyone an apology for that.
Bro, being a single mom is literally the hardest shit ever. Like, you cannot do anything. I literally got like one side of my weights racked at the gym because I tried to work out, and they're calling me over the intercom to come get him literally after 5 minutes because he don't want to be with anybody but me because I'm the only person with him. But you literally just can't do anything. I'm literally so exhausted from work like 90% of the time, so I don't ever get to do like a good like real workout. And I got up trying to do a workout this evening and he don't even want to go to the kids club. This is like the 3rd time I've tried to take him. He does not like to be with strangers, so it just makes it hard because I can't do anything. The only time I have help is when I'm working, but I can't ever do anything for myself. And the other parent just gets to do whatever they want. Literally whatever. You can go hang out with your friends. You can work out. You can complain about how tired you are, but
You see these videos all the time. Single moms breaking down because their child cries every time they leave him with someone else. And while it tugs at your heart, There's a deeper truth behind that moment. This isn't just about a toddler missing his mom. This is emotional cost of choices made long before that child could speak. Raising a child alone isn't easy. No one denies that. But let's stop pretending that most of these situations just happened. Many were preventable. Many were based on decisions rooted in impulse, pride, or the belief that a man was disposable. And now, the child is the one paying the emotional price. When a mother has to drop her baby off and he screams at the door, he's not just missing her. He's feeling confusion, anxiety, instability. And those feelings didn't come out of nowhere. Children absorb everything. They know when something's not right, even if they can't put it into words. And being passed from caregiver to babysitter to grandma is a stable upbringing. It's survival mode. And let's be honest, this didn't have to be the reality. A lot of these women chose to walk away from stable homes, from present fathers, sometimes because they were bored, unfulfilled, or chasing something more. Others decided to bring children into the world without securing a solid foundation first. Whatever the reason, the child didn't ask for this. So when you see her crying about how hard it is, remember this. What's hard now was often made easy back then. Easy to ignore red flags. Easy to push a man away. Easy to say, I don't need him. But raising a child alone, that's when reality sinks in. That's when what was easy becomes exhausting. This isn't about shame. It's about responsibility. Because behind every crying toddler is a chain of adult choices that shape that moment. And until we start holding those choices accountable, we'll keep seeing more children struggle, more mothers burn out, and more fathers push to the sidelines.
Single moms are the most unwanted people on the planet. Did that make you mad? All right, I say that, not to really make you mad, kinda. But it's true. And for me, personally, I actually feel bad for some of these single moms, especially the single moms that have multiple children. Like, they're kind of put in between a rock and a hard place. I mean, we get into relationships and we marry somebody expecting it to be a lifetime, right? We never really get into a marriage thinking it's going to go down the road of divorce. So a lot of these people have multiple children, 1, 2, 3 kids. And then something happens, one person or the other cheats, or somebody becomes unhappy, which I think that's a dumb excuse either way, but they end up getting a divorce. And now the mom is left as a single mom with 3 kids. And most guys today, because of the stigma, because most guys, honestly, and yes, I am speaking for most guys, because most guys do believe this. Most single guys who don't have kids don't want, and even some guys that do have kids don't want a single mom. And it's not because they're not beautiful. It's not because they're not good people. It's just because now you're dealing with more than one person. Not only are you dealing with the mom, but you're dealing with, in a lot of cases, the baby daddy at the same time, or possibly multiple baby daddies. That is so much added drama and stress. On top of the fact that now you're stepping into a couple of kids' life that if you guys end up getting married, now you're also somewhat responsible for those children. And let's be honest, some people just aren't cut out to be parents. So the world kind of sucks right now when it comes to this. When it comes to dating, single moms have it rough. Guys have it rough. You got a bunch of single moms out there who they just want to be loved and they want their kids loved, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then you also have the single women who don't have kids, who are just completely and utterly brainwashed to thinking that everything in the world revolves around them and that they should be super selfish and not care what anybody else thinks, or not care about what their potential partner thinks or what their potential partner wants. It's just all about them. So the guys can't even date them because nobody wants to deal with somebody that selfish. And then these women also have to deal with guys who are also selfish. And the guys have the same brainwashed mentality, thinking, well, it's all about me and I don't want to put up with some woman. I care more about my peace than anything. Yeah, we get it, dude. But don't y'all understand that love is a choice? Like, it's not a feeling. Everybody's out here chasing emotions. Why? Stop chasing emotions. Like, yeah, of course, we're trying to meet somebody and have those feelings of, attraction, and not just physically, but emotionally and all that. But then after that, once you find that, love is a choice. We're so fucked. Our world is so fucked. Like, this is bad.
Let's talk about something real, a topic that more men are now being open about. choosing not to get involved with single mothers. It's not about being cruel or judgmental. It's about recognizing patterns, understanding consequences, and protecting your peace. For a long time, men were expected to just accept whatever came with a woman's past. No questions asked. But that era is ending. When a man considers dating someone with children from a previous relationship, it's not just about chemistry or romance anymore. He's looking at a built-in dynamic that comes with emotional weight, financial pressure, and limited freedom. He's not just dating a woman. He's stepping into a situation shaped by another man, a former relationship, and often a lot of unresolved baggage. Many guys have learned the hard way. They've been expected to show up like a father, provide like a husband, and remain quiet like a shadow. Meanwhile, the biological dad gets to float in and out, often with fewer expectations. That's not partnership. That's imbalance. And more men are walking away from that deal because it doesn't serve them long term. Single moms are the most unwanted people on planet, especially single moms with multiple children, like they're kind of putting a tire rock between a rock and a hard place. Another reality is this. A lot of single mothers are emotionally unavailable, not because they're bad people, but because they're exhausted. Juggling kids, work, and life leaves very little room for vulnerability, intimacy, or support. And when a man does show up, he's often met with skepticism, guardedness, or misplaced frustration from past trauma. Plus, let's not ignore that some single moms still hold on to the idea that they're doing you a favor by giving you a chance, instead of recognizing that mutual effort is required. That kind of entitlement pushes good men away. No man wants to feel like an outsider in a relationship he's investing in, especially if he's treated like a placeholder or a backup plan. This doesn't mean there aren't incredible single mothers out there. There are, but many men today are choosing to build with someone who doesn't come with preloaded obligations or emotional scars. It's not hate, it's just a decision, a boundary, a choice to seek simplicity, peace, and a clean slate. If you're wondering why men are checking out of these setups, it's because they realize the cost is often greater than the return. And in a world that constantly tells them to sacrifice more and expect less, this choice is simply self-preservation.
You guys can say whatever you want, but after my last video, I put things out here because I really thought women would pick it up, but everything in the comments is a lot of guys, and most of the comments are hurtful and probably unnecessary, but whatever, it's the internet. But I don't think you have the whole picture of who I am, what I've been through. I was in a 6-year relationship with somebody. They moved from Florida to Arizona with my boys and I a year and a half ago. 3 months in, he went back to Florida and he never came back. And so I dealt with all of that for a long time. And then I told myself that I was ready, I was healed, and I was ready to let someone into my life. And I, because I'm new to Arizona and stuff, I was well, I'll get on a dating app. So I did, and I met this guy, and
never get on a dating
it was
app.
Great. During my healing process, I knew exactly what I was not willing to take from my past relationship and accept, and what I was looking for in a partner, and somebody that would be good for my boys too, because they're younger. They still have quite a few years
Single
in the
mother?
home. So this person was great, and our energy matched. He reciprocated the feelings. I actually was feeding off of his energy. And then on a random Tuesday, literally a random Tuesday, he decided I wasn't for him, and that broke my heart, because I had gone through all of this healing, and it's why do people heal just to be hurt again? So I feel I'm on the downward hill of turning 40, and I'm a genuinely good person, and it just hurts that I just don't know why I always get hurt. I always get the short end of the stick, because the person that went back to Arizona or back to Florida, they're thriving, like doing well. They're dating somebody else, and me, I'm like, so I think I just need to like work on being okay being alone. It's just hurtful. And so I know from like other people's videos that there are people feeling the same way. And so I just share, and I'm vulnerable. I didn't expect all the hurtful, hateful comments, but
it's not that the comments are hurtful or hateful. Is that you're overly sensitive about something that you voluntarily put out for feedback. And so you can't control. I didn't know that any of these social media platforms had a filter to where you can only, broadcast it over to women that make you feel good about your situation. But it's 1,000 red flags in that situation. First of all, I don't understand people that are trying to quickly introduce somebody into their life that they have young kids with. If you have young kids, why are you interested in bringing people into your life that then have an impact and an impression on your children that they don't even know?
You know what's exhausting? Watching a man give his time, loyalty, attention, and support to a woman who never sees him as more than a backup plan. He's always there when she needs to vent, always picks up the phone when she's falling apart, always listens when she talks about her pain. But when it comes time to give love, she runs to someone else, usually someone who doesn't even treat her half as well. There's a viral clip making the rounds again. A woman is on camera, emotional, breaking down, saying no one understands her pain. But right next to her, a guy, quiet, calm, kind. A man who clearly loves her, who's shown up every time. She doesn't see him. Not really. He's just an emotional pillow she leans on, the free therapist she never pays. And the moment she feels better, she goes chasing another guy who gives her nothing but headaches. This isn't rare. This is a cycle. Many women keep nice guys on the sidelines while chasing thrill, chaos, or validation from people who don't care about them. Then they come back crying when it all falls apart, expecting the same guy they rejected to catch them again, over and over. Let's be clear, he's not invisible. He's ignored, because stability is boring to someone who's addicted to emotional drama. And when the good guy finally walks away, she'll say, men aren't loyal anymore. No, men are done being used. It's one thing to struggle emotionally. We all do. But don't ignore the one person who's been consistently there while wasting time on someone who barely notices you exist. That's not confusion. It's emotional manipulation. So to the men out there, stop waiting around hoping she'll see you differently. She sees you. She just doesn't value you the way you deserve. Walk away. Find someone who doesn't just cry in front of you, but actually chooses you.
All I keep seeing all over my FYP is a lot of women saying that, oh my God, why does everybody hate single moms? And like, let me break it down for you. Nobody fucking hates you. What they hate is your lack of accountability for the circumstances that you're in. What they hate is the fact that you claim that you hate your baby daddy so much and he's such a deadbeat, but you've made it your entire personality trait on the internet. What they hate is the fact that you'll come online and talk about how you're an independent, badass bitch because you're a single mom and everything about you is, I'm a single mom, I'm a single mom. There has to be more to you than just being a single mom. But the other part about it is men are annoyed at the fact that they're not allowed to have a fucking preference to not want to date you or have a long-term relationship with you because you have children. But then if women say, oh my God, I don't want to date him because he has 3 baby moms, now that's a fucking problem. It's just a whack-ass double standard because at the end of the day, people are allowed to have preferences to not wanting to date you or not being emotionally invested in your children. And you can tell how fucking selfish so many of these women are because they're only thinking about their happiness in these relationships rather than thinking about how this affects your kids if the relationship doesn't work out and they grow attached to said man. And me personally, if I didn't have kids, I would not date a man who has kids. There has to be equal risk and equal reward. And when you have a dynamic where there's kids involved and not kids involved, it's not an equal playing field. And yeah, are there plenty of people that step up? Like, good fucking for them. At the end of the day, they have no legality to those children. So y'all want to make it about hate, but really it's about accountability and getting the fuck over it. Like, let it go. Okay, your baby daddy sucks. We get it. Find something else to talk about. Okay, bye.
Let's get something straight from the start. Most men don't hate single mothers. That's just not true. What many men dislike is being told that having boundaries, standards, or concerns somehow makes them bad people. Wanting to protect your future isn't hate. It's wisdom. Now scroll through any platform and you'll see it. Video after video of women venting, crying, and asking, why do men avoid single moms? They say it like it's a crime to hesitate. Like a man should feel guilty for wanting a clean slate. But let's be honest. It's not the kids that scare men off. It's the drama. It's the denial. It's the lack of self-awareness. You'll hear phrases like, my baby daddy's the worst, or he never helps, or he ruined my life. But somehow that same man was good enough to start a family with. That same man was the one until he wasn't. So where's the accountability? Why does the story never include her part in the mess? That's the real reason men are cautious. Because they've seen it before. A woman dragging a man's name to the mud, rewriting history, and playing victim, while expecting the next guy to pick up the pieces. That's not attractive. That's not strength. That's avoidance. And mature men see right through it. The truth is, men are waking up. They're asking real questions like, why is she always blaming someone else? Why hasn't she taken time to reflect? Is she really ready for something new, or just hoping to be rescued? These are valid questions. And yet, asking them gets labeled as hate? No, it's not hate. It's a man refusing to be a placeholder. It's a man saying, I'm not here to be your therapist, your savior, or your backup plan. And the moment he says that out loud, suddenly he's a villain. But here's the twist. He's not the problem. He's the first one to tell the truth. Look, there are single moms out there doing it right, being honest, working hard, and not blaming the world for their past. They take responsibility. They grow. They lead with humility, not entitlement. And they're not the ones complaining that men don't want them, because men do want women like that. So let's stop twisting the narrative. It's not that men are cold or cruel. It's that men are no longer accepting situations that come with excuses, emotional baggage, and zero self-reflection. It's not rejection. It's discernment. So if you're one of those women constantly shouting, nobody likes single moms, take a step back, look in the mirror, ask yourself, is it the kids or is it me? Because most of the time, the answer isn't hate. It's just that the story you're selling doesn't match the responsibility you're avoiding.
Up and down this app, single mothers are being told that they're less valuable. They don't care how you became a single mother. They don't care if you were married and then you became divorced and now you're a single mother, or you and your partner were committed in a committed relationship and you guys didn't believe in, marriage, the piece of paper, but you guys were actually married, but now you're a single mother. Or he promised everything and it didn't fall through, you ended up pregnant and now you're a single mother. Like, whatever the case may be, their single mothers are all put in one category as less valuable. And then people who see this, constantly being told that being a mother, being a single mother is less valuable, it makes more and more women don't want to deal with men or children. And then you wonder, like, oh my God, why are women deciding to be single? Why are they deciding to be childless? Because of the shit that you guys talk constantly about how women are less than when they have these things. And women, we really need to put it in our head. When you are dealing with men, first question, is he worth lowering my value for? Because us dealing with men lowers our value. So think about it. Is this man worth lowering my value for? I don't care if you're average. I don't care if you have $2 in your name, because apparently they don't care about that, right? I don't give a shit. Whatever the case may be, whatever you think your level at, or whatever they tell you your level is at, it's bullshit. Put it in your head. Is this man worth lowering my value for? 9 out of 10 is going to be a no. I'm just giving you the answer. But If he doesn't meet your standards, I don't care how high or how unobtainable it is to the man that you are encountering. If it's not at the level that you want it to be, it is not worth it. They are not worth it, because dealing with them lowers your value. Period. No matter what the case may be. So, like they say, choose wisely.
You know, there's a clip going on. She says she's tired of society seeing her as less vulnerable. She's worn down, frustrated, emotional. And honestly, I get it. Being a parent is hard. Doing it alone, even harder. But when you say society is against you, let's really look at what's being said. Because truth be told, most people don't think less of single moms because they're parents. What bothers many, especially men, is the attitude that often comes with it. It's not the child that's the issue. It's the sense of entitlement that sometimes follows, the expectation that people owe you sympathy while ignoring the choices that led there. A lot of men are checking out of this dynamic, not because they hate single moms, but because they've been burned by situations where accountability was never part of the conversation. How often do we hear he left me? Or he's a deadbeat, but never hear what part she played? How often does the story skip past the red flag she ignored, the decision she made, or how she contributed to a failed relationship? That's the problem. It's not that people view you as less vulnerable. It's that many are tired of hearing one side of the story. Vulnerability isn't weakness, but ignoring your past, refusing to own up, and expecting praise for doing what every parent should do, that's where patience runs thin. And they're not willing to step into roles that come with emotional landmines and one-sided expectations. When a woman vents about being judged, sometimes she's not being judged, she's being held accountable. And yes, there's a difference. Now, if you're a single mom doing the work, being honest about your past, raising your kids, and not blaming every man for your last mistake, this message isn't against you. But if every conversation starts with what someone else didn't do, and never what you're learning, healing from, or improving, then maybe it's time for reflection, not another rant. So no, society doesn't think you're weak. It's just tired of being emotionally blackmailed into ignoring patterns that need to be called out. And if more single moms stepped into ownership instead of outrage, they'd find more support than they ever imagined.